didn't turn out as well as I hoped. I had a few issues with the soluble ink. The sky didn't turn out so great, and I've no idea what happened to the colours. I took a little time working out exactly where to start on this, because normally I just jump straight in and it all ends up looking okay. So I did try a little harder this time, and I think I chose a good spot. There's a natural progression along the roof line to extend from my starting point, and I think the proportions turned out quite well. The windows are where things started to go wrong for this painting. I used a lot of ink. With the knowledge that I was going to use water later on, I should have been a little more cautious. As you will see, what happens when you use a lot of ink and a lot of water, it gets a bit messy. Working on these people on the beach was a new thing for me, but I just treated it like everything else. Vague shapes, scribble away, and I think they turned out okay. I added these stones in the wall sparingly because you can just overdo it. So I just gave a suggestion, put more detail in with the dark areas and less detail in with the light areas, and just made a suggestion of them. And I think again this was okay. I really enjoy putting the water in because you can really bring out an image, getting those darks really dark and you can get the depth working very well. The windows actually look okay here, but it was later on when I start adding colour that it goes wrong. I think this could have been left as a black and white sketch. Around this point, a little bit more work and it would have been a complete image, but I carried on. Adding the sky, I should have gone for a nice flat wash, and certainly with a better shade of blue, but I tried something different, which is always worth doing, but it didn't work for me in this case. I also managed to rip the paper slightly. When it gets very damp, it's a low quality paper, so it didn't react very well to rubbing. I was actually unable to add too much colour to the windows. I was going to use the colour of the sky as it's reflected in the windows, but because of so much of the soluble ink was in there, I couldn't really do anything. Certainly not what I wanted anyway. This was supposed to be pink. It kind of looks a little pink, I guess, if you squint. But yeah, didn't work out very well. As you can see, adding the yellow just drew the ink out of the page and smeared it everywhere. It's supposed to be a nice clean wash of yellow, and it was done very mucky, but then again, has lots of character. In the future I need to pay more attention to some of my angles on the roof. My angles aren't shallow enough. It doesn't look as high up as it should do. Also, I've got to be more careful with the use of my soluble ink. It works well in certain places, but for these windows it was a bit of a disaster, I think. I think it worked well on the walls and on the distant buildings, but you've got to be careful of the detail. Maybe I should leave the details till later. When everything's dried, I can just put in those darks around the window frames and the windows, and that will work much better. I think the final image is an interesting one. It doesn't really bear the character of the original photo, which was a little washed out, but it certainly produces an interesting image. I quite like it. It kind of grows on you over time.